Yeah, I know this review was late, but the benefit of doing reviews after the weekend is I don't have to see really shitty movies. So American Ultra is directed by this guy, whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce, and it stars Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart, and Toby Grace. So Mike Howe is a stoner that lives a boring, simple life, but it turns out he's a sleeper CIA agent and is scheduled for termination, and he gets activated and ends up killing all the other agents that are coming to try to kill him. And this movie's pretty straightforward. It's a very simple plot, and I liked it. I had fun in this movie. Hearing the synopsis of this film and going into it, I was expecting a fun, action-filled movie, and it is. I think Jesse Eisenberg was the best person to cast for Mike. He plays off that awkward, panic kind of guy very well, and I really like Jesse Eisenberg's dry humor. His delivery is just so matter of fact. It isn't over the top. This role just fit him very well. And also in this movie, Kristen Stewart surprised me. I mean, she played the girlfriend of Jesse Eisenberg in this film, and they had pretty good chemistry in the movie. And they played off each other pretty well. She was a nice little contrast from Jesse Eisenberg, and I know there's a lot of Kristen Stewart haters out there, but I think you should judge her on her recent body of work and not on Twilight, because Twilight was so long ago and she's come a long way since then, and I think she did pretty well in this film, and she surprised me. But on the flip side of that, I think the weakest performance in this film is Toby Grace. I mean, his performance is just too over the top. There was no middle ground with his performance. He was definitely the weakest part of this film. And I think it had a lot to do with his character. His character was just very one-dimensional. You didn't get a lot out of him. And one of the best things about this film is the action. And I said it from my Man of Uncle review. There are some movies where shaky cam is used properly, and this is a perfect example of that. There was a little bit of shaky cam in this, but they didn't constantly cut from angle to angle to angle, and you weren't lost in the action. You knew what was happening, and you knew where in the scene it was taking place. And I think this movie is a really good example of the use of shaky cam. And when I saw the trailers to this movie, I thought it was gonna be a little bit more, over the top, but this movie was more practical than I was expecting it to be, but it was still fun. If I had to define the action in this film, it was very brutal. There are a lot of moments in this film with the action that I was going, oh shit, that was rough. I was kind of expecting this movie to be a little bit more guilty pleasure, and I wanted to get a little bit more over the top for this film because the trailers kind of sold it that way, and that's what I was expecting, and that's what I wanted. Kind of like Pineapple Express meets The Bourne Identity, and for a lot of times it was, but because at times the movie took itself a little too seriously, but other times there's a lot of fun and a lot of comedy going on. I got a little bit of that guilty pleasure flick feel from this movie, and I wanted to see more of that. I was a little disappointed there, and I think if this movie would have been a little bit more comedic and a little more guilty pleasure, it would have been a lot better. But despite all of that, I still enjoyed myself in this movie. It's a really fun movie to go to, so I'm giving American Ultra a good game. So, American Ultra, have you guys seen it? What did you think about it? Leave a comment below, tell me your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button below, help me out please. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you like this, you can click right here, see more videos. Bye, Andrew.